Yeah, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Thanks for joining this live on ServiceNow webinar on what's new for ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams. We're going to step through our deck here today. Briefly stop by our safe harbor notice for forward-looking statements. Please give it a quick read. Basically, anything that we talk about here that's forward-looking represents a plan and not a promise and should not be used to make a purchasing decision. Today's session is a part of the Live on ServiceNow curated event series designed to connect you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you to deploy your products and achieve value faster. We hope you join us again at another webinar or a meetup. You can see the schedule by scanning the QR code on the screen or using the link posted in the chat. A couple of housekeeping items here. We'll ask folks to stay on mute. Believe you're probably muted by default here. We'll have time for Q&A during and after the presentation, so please use that Q&A feature through Zoom to ask your questions. We'll try to take some breaks periodically if we have time. And of course, at the end of the session, we'll answer all the questions we can. This session is being recorded and will be shared on the brand new ServiceNow community forum after the session. And any questions that we're not able to get to during the session today, we'll make sure to put answers to on that page. After the session's over, you'll be prompted to fill out a short survey. We'd appreciate any of your feedback. There is a question in there about being contacted directly for additional information. So if you're interested in that, please make sure to respond accordingly in the survey. And thanks for that. Let's go ahead and meet our speakers. Since I've been doing the talking so far, I'll start. My name's Jeff Fox. I'm a product manager focused on integration go-to-market activities. I'm housed in our IT service management group and work across all the business units that integrate with Microsoft Teams. Pooja, do you mind to introduce yourself to the group?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you all today and see such a great turnout for this webinar. My name is Pooja Gupta, and I'm a product manager with the Unified Employee Experience team. So you will see me generally present on capabilities like Employee Center, Microsoft Teams, and also now mobile. Very, very excited to see you all here today.
Thanks, Pooja. Janet?
Hi, my name is Janet Acorn, and I am a product manager as well for ITSM. And I've been working with the organization for several years now, and really glad to see such a great turnout showing up. So thank you very much. Corey?
Thank you, Janet. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Corey Dubois. I'm a senior advisory consultant with a focus on the alliance with Microsoft. So I'm happy to be with you today.
Thanks, Corey. All right, so folks, let's get into it here. As we normally do, let's start out with a couple of poll questions here. We'd really like to get the temperature and understand some of the expectations from the audience. So please, let's roll poll question number 1. All right, have you completed the integration between ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams in your organization's production environment? Oh my goodness. This is great to see. And I'm gonna go off video now for the balance of the presentation here. We'll give this just another couple moments to go through. Got about 60% of people responding so far. Oh, this is nice.
Cool.
Okay, let's go ahead and share the results here. We've got about 70 some. And I got to say, I'm impressed. We did one of these webinars a month ago, and I think it was 5 or 6% of people had actually done it. So it's great to see that a couple more 5% percentage-wise, that is. Good to see an increase there, and good to see several people have it scheduled. So if you're interested in learning more, you're definitely in the right place. Let's go ahead and roll the second question, please. All right. If you haven't conducted the integration between ServiceNow and Teams, what is holding things back for you? Is it something around the feature availability in the integration? Is it your organization's technical resources, funding, or something else? All right. Okay, let's go ahead and share the results here. Thanks for folks who responded. Looks like it is, we're seeing a lot around folks having technical resources, a little bit on funding, and a lot that's other. If you don't mind, folks in the chat, if you did respond other, it'd be interesting to see what your response is on that in terms of what's holding back doing the integration. And let's roll our third question, please. Last one for right now, so please bear with us. Would you be interested in just integrating a single item with Teams? So for folks who whether you're familiar or not, if you're just interested in doing calls using major incident management functionality, doing group chats and calls, that would be using the Notify connector. If you would just want to use Virtual Agent, you could do that, or just do Employee Center. Wow. Let's give this a moment for a few more people to respond. Seeing a pretty good split.
It's nice to see the even split. That means they're all useful.
All right, let's go ahead and stop this poll question, please. And share the answers. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got 35, 38, 28. Really cool, really cool. Okay, thanks, folks. This is really helpful to see. And let's go ahead and get through the presentation. We'll do a little bit of an overview here about the integration itself, talk about some of our key tentpole features, and then get into what's new on VA and Employee Center. So for all the capabilities that are available in Teams. So as you may know, ServiceNow has integrated with Microsoft Teams, and this visual is designed to give some clarity about what's achievable with the integration. It highlights some of the capabilities really specific to Virtual Agent and Employee Center, and all of which you can access inside of Microsoft Teams. And there's so much inside the platform that it is really tough to stay on top of it all and leverage what's useful to you. So we're going to look into some aspects that may be helpful for your organization to improve your agent and employee experience. There could also be some confusion between integrating with just VA or Employee Center or EC Pro or and the overall ServiceNow for Teams integration. And it's important to note that you can do a lot without integrating VA or Virtual Agent or Employee Center. And you don't need ITSM Pro to do conference calls and chats. You can do that with just a standard license. So we'll get into some of those details here. And before we do it, let's get into some of the highlight features. So Virtual Agent has been the cornerstone really of the integration. It was what we, I believe, addressed first. And it really helps using Virtual Agent inside of Teams helps to turn conversations into resolutions and enable faster time to value for your organization. With VA inside of Teams, you can engage employees inside of Teams, do a lot of automated interactions, case deflection through the always-on chatbot, and leverage your ServiceNow data to provide personalized responses. Very powerful feature, and everything that's available within Virtual Agent you can do inside of Teams. So real savings in terms of and efficiency gains in terms of meeting employees where they are. Let's go ahead and move on here into major incident management inside of Teams. So this is a capability that's really a key benefit of the integration. And I shouldn't say it's inside of Teams, but major incident management provides agents the ability to initiate a Teams chat from ServiceNow, from inside the ServiceNow platform. They can work with an employee or other subject matter experts inside the organization to talk through an incident and automatically import any chat transcripts back into a ticket as a comment. Additionally, calls can be launched from service operations workspace inside of ServiceNow. And in that way, more complex incidents that require live support can be quickly resolved and documented. So again, a key feature here that really shows the power of the integration in between the ServiceNow platform and Teams. And finally, Employee Center. Launched just a year ago with our Rome release, Employee Center and Employee Center Pro host a wealth of employee experience benefits for your organization. It does so much to make employees' working lives easier, and Pooja is going to go through a lot of the details on this in just a couple minutes. But first, let's get into what's new with Virtual Agent. So as you may know, we just completed our Tokyo release last month. And let's talk about some of the highlights in VA. And again, all of the things that are listed here are capabilities of virtual agent that can be achieved inside of Teams. So let's see here. Promoted topics is something we're pretty excited about. Admins now would be able to push out important common topics for users' quick consumptions, really saving time from going through a potential long list of topics to find what's needed. This could be if open enrollment is coming up, or if there's some company activity that you really want to highlight and make available through virtual agent. If an employee came up with a question, you can put that as a button and they can just click right on it and get into that conversation without any delay. We've also introduced promoted topics on all the messaging channels, so you can configure up to 6 promoted topics to be displayed on those channels. And in case you're wondering if it's possible to set up a different set of promoted topics on Teams versus Slack, it is. Language detection and dynamic translation. So this is pretty cool. Not only is dynamic translation available for agents anymore, virtual agents, VA uses it as well as live agents do. So if VA speaks to an end user in one language and the user responds in another language from what their language profile indicates, say they're set up in English and they respond in Spanish, now virtual agent will figure out what language is being used and it will translate on the fly using dynamic translation. So it's really multi-language support inside of VA that makes virtual agent an even greater case deflection mechanism. Pretty powerful. Conversational analytics dashboard transcript download. Just like it sounds, this is a feature that makes it easy to share chat transcripts by downloading them. The transcript CSV file for each conversation listed inside of the conversations tab of the VA analytics dashboard would include information such as system event info, bot responses, NLU thresholds that were met, spokes being called, and node block information and the like. In terms of the walk-up experience, so walk-up's really great, and we've extended the support for interacting with the walk-up experience through virtual agent. So an employee could book in advance and manage a walk-up via virtual agent, again, inside of Teams. So they don't need to go to the walk-up interface to do it. They can just do it through virtual agent. And then finally, the conversational integration admin console enhancements. These are focused on improving virtual agent and its capabilities to make for a better customer experience. So administrators who are looking for solutions to quickly set up and deploy features inside of VA or monitor and manage the health of their deployed solution would find some enhancements. They can also proactively learn about new updates and any undeployed features to encourage customers to adopt the new capabilities. So, the CI admin console really allows users to surface CI health diagnostics and allow them to monitor the health of their deployed solution. Let's see here. And I think I'll go ahead and stop it there for what's new in virtual agent. Let's go ahead and look at some of the topics that are out here. It's been a while since I think on one of these Teams calls, we've talked about what is available through virtual agent, but we've released 81 new topics and or enhancements via the ServiceNow store, particularly for ITSM. And these conversations are available to install as of today. You can see there's some overarching topics that have a lot of features and capabilities related. So if you wanted to put in topics about your Active Directory or password reset, working with virtual machines, agent client collector or the like, there's a lot of pre-configured conversations that can be leveraged to do just that. A lot of self-service, ITSM, and actionable notification content as well. So these are available for folks who have ITSM or HRSD Pro, and want to encourage you to look into them if you haven't already done so. So that does it for what's new in virtual agent. We're about 15 minutes in. Just want to take a quick stop and see if there's any questions to be addressed so far. Janet, anything to come up yet?
There are a few questions out there. Yeah, there's one from, I believe it's Cloud Phone. Is there a way to automate a team group chat when a major incident is created based on the live assignment group? Now, just to confirm, I'm assuming what you're saying is you want to know if a new chat can be opened just with the group that's assigned. That's not how it's designed out of the box. There is a chat that opens in a major incident once it becomes a major incident when you have the integration set up. And it's there and you can add and remove teams as you want. So as you assign a team to it, they would be invited to that major incident chat. So hopefully that's what you were looking for. And if not, please just let us know on the Q&A and we can follow up a bit more. There's another one from Brad Manila. Is language detect and translate out of the box or require additional licensing or config? Do you want to take this one, Jeff, or I can say what I know of it? Because to my knowledge, language translation and detection is not an added feature. It is a platform level feature, but it's only for whatever languages you've associated with either your language translation provider or your localization side of things.
Thanks, Janet. I can't add to that. That sounds pretty complete.
Okay. Bob Strong, what is available in VA Lite? VA Lite is very, very, very light. It includes basically how you can open a VA conversation to get to something in your catalog. So how do you request something through VA, as well as how can you log a basic incident? That's it. Okay. And is there a subscription for this service or just a plugin? I guess it depends. If you're using VA Lite, it's there in standard, so it's not a subscription. It is just available to you. If you are going to full virtual agent and the ITSM teams and so on, then yes, it's part of ITSM Pro.
Yeah, that's right. And I would just add, if you're an ITSM or HRSD customer, there are plugins which we have. We'll share with our resources. Maybe we can get into the chat here in just a second what those specific plugins are, but they are no charge. They're part of the subscription that you would have already had. So the integration with Teams is not an extra charge.
And there's one more question that hopefully maybe Pooja, maybe this one you can answer. How will VA dynamic translation interact with NLU models and utterances? Do you have any details?
No, I don't have too much details around the VA side of things. Yeah, we'll have to check on that. We'll follow up.
Corey,
Okay.
Is that something you can speak to?
No, I have to follow up on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. So we'll have to I'm going to copy this one and we'll get an answer for it. Okay. Yeah, I was afraid of this question about topics and conversations being developed for HR. I have an open item to reach out to that team. They do have their own set of conversations. I don't know that the list is as robust as what we see here for ITSM, but there are their own set of topics and conversations for for HRSD. Okay, thanks, folks. Let's go ahead and move on to employee center features. And Pooja, you want to take it from here, please?
Yep, absolutely. Before we jump into Employee Center, I do want to do a couple of polls. So let's just start with a poll to see if anyone has deployed Employee Center in their organization. And this is irrespective to whether you have Teams implemented or not, just whether you have Employee Center or Employee Center Pro deployed. Okay, seeing lots of no's, but also a great amount of yes, which is very nice to see. All right, so let's end this poll and share results. So like I said, there's a lot of yes, but also a lot of no's. So for those, and actually for everyone, let me just do another poll just to understand where I should start. So this question is a little bit of a tricky question. Do you understand the difference between Service Portal and Employee Center? Let's see where people are. now. Okay. Thank you, Mihai, for putting it on the chat. All right. It's good to see that the majority understand the difference, which is, I'm very happy to see that. Okay. People are still answering, so I'll give them a chance. Yeah. Sujata, but not really. I'll tell what the difference is. I don't have a slide on it, but I'll definitely, let me just show you the results over here. Let's spend some time on this question. Like, what is service portal? What is employee center? Now, the term service portal is used for two different things in ServiceNow. One is the service portal tech stack, or the platform in which all the portals in ServiceNow are built. And these are like, you can think of the customer facing portal, you can think of Employee Center Pro, and many of the other portals like Knowledge Portal, Catalog portals that you might have had before Employee Center was launched. And then we also have a portal called Service Portal, which is the /SP portal. Now, Employee Center is a portal that is built on the Service Portal tech stack and is actually designed to be an enterprise portal, but it can be used for departmental capabilities as well. In fact, all of ServiceNow customers, irrespective of whether you are IT, Creator, WSD, or any ServiceNow customer has access to Employee Center. So even if they are not doing an enterprise use case, they should ideally be starting with Employee Center for any of their employee-facing portals. So it's designed to be the portal that ServiceNow has for all employee-facing use cases. So it's not departmental specific is when you would go to Service Portal, or an enterprise when you would go to Employee Center. Feel free to add questions or clarification questions on chat, and I can expand on this further. Our recommendation to all customers, and there are a lot of you on the call here today, so I want to make it absolutely clear. If you're deploying a portal, you should be looking at Employee Center, especially if the portal is employee facing. The /SP or service portal is not a portal that we are investing in from a product perspective. So all the new capabilities, all the new features that we come up with for portal are actually going into Employee Center. Nice. That's good to see that people are looking to migrate from Service Portal to Employee Center. Definitely something that we are encouraging all our customers to do to leverage the new capabilities that we are shipping with Employee Center. All right. So hopefully this context was helpful. So the focus for the presentation today is actually to talk about what's new with Employee Center in the Tokyo release. And before I go into it, I want to say what we have is, in terms of the integration, that whatever Employee Center portal experience that you have built, you can actually integrate the entire portal into the Teams interface. So an employee, if they want to access the portal, or access any of the services or catalog or knowledge associated on the portal, they don't have to leave the Teams interface. The portal actually opens up as a separate app within the Microsoft Teams interface. So meeting where employees are, making sure they are staying on Teams and not having to go into a different system for accessing, let's say, a portal related use case is the goal for this. And many organizations are leveraging it. All right, so let's go further and let's start jumping into the new things. Now, if you're familiar with Employee Center, and we'll share some links to give you some more context on it. One thing that we have done is we have a taxonomy topic-driven navigation on this. So you don't have to maintain the topics. It's auto-curated, they're dynamic in nature. So all the content, which is catalog knowledge that is done to the topics, are automatically created, and you have a separate page for it. Now, these topics could be IT, HR, benefits, hardware, software, any of those. What we have done into Tokyo release is we have built the ability to have distributed ownership. So even though you are in a single portal, IT can have its own take in terms of what they want their topics to look and feel, and HR can have its own take of like, here's how we want, and here's how we want to manage our topics. So that's one of the things that we have built. So essentially we have a new topic level manager and a topic level contributor roles that that can be defined, and you can centralize or decentralize the topic management as you want. I'm going to take the question that I see on chat right now just because it's relevant. What does ServiceNow recommend for governance and best way to manage topics? So this slide here is exactly for that. It depends on where your organization is. You have the ability to be completely centralized. That's what you want. So you have a central team, they own the topics, they define how the experience across different topics is, and all the other stakeholders request that central team. That's one approach. You can also decentralize it, have defined topic managers and topic contributors at different topic levels, and they are the ones who are defining what the topic templates are, what content is tagged, and what communications are made, what widgets are available, and so on. Now, of course, you do have to have some sort of common understanding or guidelines that for these topic managers, and we do recommend that you define those. But the technology would provide you the flexibility to be as centralized or decentralized. Can we control access to content based on topics? No. So the access to users is based on the content within the topic. So you define user criteria at the content level. Providing user criteria at topic level is something that we're evaluating from a product roadmap perspective. Okay, Jeff, next slide. All right, so the approvals experience on Employee Center has been one of the things that we are really looking to enhance. So you would see enhancements coming in our August store release, which is what this is talking about, as well as November store release, which is just around the corner. The August store release focused on making sure you have the flexibility to show what different data you want to show for different approval types or task types. So let's say you have a change related approval versus a knowledge approval. You may want to show different data for it. So you can choose and you can configure the page to show the data as you want it. For different task types. And the good thing is that you can even extend it to non-task tables. So let's say you are bringing in approvals from somewhere external through an integration that you may have built. This framework will allow you to surface it up in the same place. So you literally have a unified UI for all approvals across the enterprise. All right, so these two are both capabilities which are available with, go ahead, Jeff, it's fine. So with the Employee Center base. And I'm going to talk about Employee Center Pro capabilities now. Now, in terms of licensing, just to clarify, Employee Center is available for everyone. Employee Center Pro needs to have the HRSD Pro or Enterprise license, and it can also be licensed separately if you choose to. Right. In terms of, so Employee Center Pro focuses a lot more on, employee destination site kind of experiences, and is definitely a lot more powerful from an enterprise portal perspective than just Employee Center. So this capability here is an example of where we are taking that experience from like our best in class capabilities. So this is what we call personalized answers. It's available on Innovation Lab because we are delivering it as a proof of concept, and we'll take it further next year. But the idea is if you are searching for answers and you are typing, for example, like how much time off I have, instead of having you to go to a different system and like checking that data somewhere else, maybe we can bring that data in to ServiceNow and showcase the answer as a genius result. So you don't have to go clicking into some other page or document to find how to get that answer, but you actually have the answer, and we can see the screenshot as part of the search results. And you also have action buttons on what you can do with that information available on that page to take quick action. something that we're really interested to take forward, and would love your feedback if you do plan to go this route. All right, let's go to the next one. Does that, Victor is asking if that comes from Workday. No, the integration that we have built is from Kronos, and you can bring in Workday data as well. The integration, like the pre-built integration with what we have shipped, is with Kronos. All right. Next, we built something called employee profile, which provides, and it's available for Employee Center, and it provides a better way to just showcase the employee profile, a consolidated data for everything that an employee would have in single page. In our August release, we have actually enhanced and tied it with our org chart experience as well. And org chart is something that's available with Employee Center Pro. So we've given a facelift to the way it looks and feels, so you can see a lot more improvements in terms of the focus, how the data is shown, and also action items of what you can do with that information directly on the page. We've also improved the search and made this whole experience configurable from an admin perspective. So the admins can define what action items are visible, what data is visible, which employees are actually included in this experience. So if you want to, let's say, keep contingent workers out, you can choose to do that. So a lot more improved UX and configuration options. All right, let's go to the next one. If you're familiar with Employee Center Pro, you would know that Employee Center Pro has this extensive capability for doing employee communications. Everything from content authoring experience, which is targeted on non-tech users, so has like a very like buttons and drag and drop kind of capabilities to author content and also publish it. And then we have like a lot of ways that you can actually showcase the content on the portal. We have been enhancing that, and we will continue enhancing that. The major enhancements that came out in August is what I'll focus on the next 2 slides. So this one is about translation support. So let's say you are building a banner, and you want that banner to be in the local language or the preferred language that an employee has set up on their portal. You would need to translate that banner and create multiple versions of it. And it's typically a very manual task to do it. So what we have done is we have integrated with the localization framework. So the place where you are getting the translations within the platform. And you can actually request the translation with a click of a button in the authoring process. It will create the translations, you can view it, you can edit it, you can preview it on the actual portal, and then approve it. So it makes the whole translation of banners and communication content a lot simpler. Jeff, if you go to the next slide, please. Thanks. So this is a little bit more about, like how the governance question was coming in the beginning about how do we govern the content. So this is more around governance of communication content. So a lot of times we do have stakeholders who want to request communications made out on the portal. And there's no easy way to do it. It's often through emails to content authors or the content author teams. What we have built now is actually an end-to-end workflow to request communications made, and they will directly go to the content authors. So we have actually shipped a new request item, which comes out of box with predefined form and like filters and like questions, which will be received by the content authors in their content governance module. They can create it, they can share it with the content requester to review it, and then once everything is ready, it actually goes as an approval in the same approval experience that we have on the portal, and the content is published. So this end-to-end workflow for actually communications governance or content governance is something that we have shipped with our August release as well. Jeff, you had something?
I just said cool. I believe that's our last slide here before we get to the demo. So maybe
awesome.
take a few minutes for questions.
Yep. Does the EC/MS Team integration use a Spoke? Great question. So you actually need to just download the same Spoke or the same plugin actually that you use for any of the other integrations. So it's ServiceNow for Teams plugin. So if you're just using the ITSM, so I think it's called ITSM ServiceNow for Teams. Jeff, correct me. What's
it's IT Service Management for Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, IT Service Management for Microsoft Teams. So if you're downloading that, then you would get this.
Good one. Moonhwan had several questions as well in the Q&A. First up is they have HRSD Prod subscription and ITSM Standard. They converted from Service Portal to Employee Center Portal with a little bit of customization. I don't think that's a question so much as EC Pro and ESC plugin. If they activate Employee Center Pro as the newest version, how do they merge the Employee Center Portal with a little bit of customization with the out-of-the-box EC Pro?
Okay, thanks. The way I'm understanding the question is that you had multiple different portals first. There was an IT portal, there was an HR portal. You have merged them. We are looking to merge them into Employee Center. And then the subscriptions are HRSD Pro and ITSM Standard. Hopefully I got that correct. So let me clarify one thing. Employee Center is just an extended and a rebranded version of the ESC plugin. So when you upgrade to Roam or beyond, the Employee Center Pro, the instance that had Employee Center Pro, Employee Service Center implemented automatically gets upgraded to Employee Center Pro. So that part is easy. Now you're looking into bringing in the customizations and configuring Employee Center for both IT and HR. You can do that easily because Employee Center is built on the same service portal platform. So the way I would recommend is you start out of box, start building the taxonomy first. So build the taxonomy, bring all the content in from IT and HR, target to the taxonomy, define what your homepage experience will be. And then if there are particular widgets that you want to bring in from your old implementation, you can actually just use the service portal designer and bring those customizations in. You don't have to do it again in the new portal because they're actually all sitting in the same tech stack. We do have some documentation on this on community, so we'll share a link on community for this. I'm happy to expand on it later on.
Okay. And I think they clarified they only have one Employee Service Center portal and they want to utilize Employee Service Center Pro. So maybe it is important to talk about the difference between Service Portal, Employee Service Center, and Employee Center.
Yeah, so Service Portal is the tech stack and there is a separate /SP portal. Employee Service Center was the old terminology we used before Roam. And that was for what we currently have Employee Center Pro. So Employee Service Center is equivalent to Employee Center Pro. And I can share some visual on this later on. So if you have like the ESC portal is automatically Employee Center Pro. So all you have to do is upgrade, get the new capabilities, start you configuring them and using them.
Yeah, there was another question. I had written an answer into it, Pooja, but the question asked, is there a benefit to run both, presuming Service Portal and Employee Center in parallel? And I responded, no, if you run both in parallel, they both need to be managed individually, and Service Portal capabilities are not as great as Employee Center. So we recommend just using Employee Center.
Yes, that's a very good answer. From an employee experience perspective, the problem that we are solving for, and we are really focused on solving for, is that employees don't want to go to multiple different portals to access their questions. They want a single place where they can actually get everything. And they often don't know whether they should go to like portal X or portal Y. So by having two separate portals, you're deceiving that whole employee experience output, in which is like, let's consolidate, let's give them one place, let's make it easy for them. Secondly, if you are deploying two separate portals, you're managing them separately, so it's added work. And as Jeff pointed out, the service portal experience is not great. We're not investing in that experience. Employee Center is something we're investing in, so that portal will get all the new capabilities. And if you want to get it to service portal, it'll be hard because there's a lot of manual work to get it back to service portal side. Hope that made sense.
I think so. I'm seeing several questions in the chat as well. So I'm just going to kind of hit one or two of these. Can we control access to content based on topics? Did we already answer that?
I did. So content control, like which user gets access to which catalog item or which knowledge article, is defined by user criteria at that knowledge article or catalog level.
Okay. Oh, and then there was a comment in here about the running both in parallel thing. To add context to it, the scenario they're facing involves a modified experience for third-party contractors versus full-time employees.
Yeah, we can, if you're interested, please share your email and we can connect on this scenario and go further in detail with you individually. We're running out of time, so Jeff, I would say let's get into the demo.
Yeah, let's get into the demo. And I would also say the survey, please respond to the survey then, and we'll be able to contact you directly. So without further ado, let's move to the demo. Corey, do you mind to take over?
Certainly.
All right.
All right. Thank you. And just to confirm, you could see the screen?
Yeah, man.
All right, perfect. And so today, I'll be demonstrating how ServiceNow and Microsoft have teamed together to help improve employee experience by simplifying workflows, as Pooja has mentioned. So, throughout the integration with Microsoft Teams and ServiceNow, customers have seen a significant increase in employee satisfaction and reducing business and improving business efficiency, as Jeff mentioned earlier in the presentation. I will highlight a few of those workflows today. So here's a look at our new unified employee center page, which provides a professional and personalized experience for the end user. As you can see here, we have an end user. His name is Joe. And because of the integration with Teams, as you see, I'm in Teams, we're able to understand who that person is, their job functions, and what they do, and provide a curated experience for them, right? And so here, within the content experience widget that you see here, we can provide a campaign, a targeted campaign from a global perspective for the company, right? Where you can say, as Joe is coming in as a new employee, he can say, okay, what are some of the things that I can do? And one of the things that you can see here is we give them the ability to say, set goals for you as you're getting started in your activities. So Joe could come here and simply say, I want to see about setting my individual goals. We can also curate information that's recommended for Joe in his job and provide knowledge-based articles and curate that up to him that he can able to receive and react upon. And then we can also have popular topics that are surfaced up based off of common things that are happening within the organization, right? So if it's emails that's being surfaced up, health and wellness. So if I click on health and wellness, you'll see that I get a list of knowledge-based articles that I can access, things that are commonly asked by employees within the organization, right? And so I can look at that and I can send in requests based off of that information. If I go back to the homepage, you'll also see something that Pooja mentioned earlier. Here we have a list of different services that the organization provides, from HR to IT to workspace. And so we can curate all that in one singleized workflow to be able to provide additional information from a single unified experience. So here within HR, we can then look at health and wellness and retirement. So we have a more consumable way of accessing this information based off of what you're trying to do. If we want to look at pay and time, if we click in there, we can get a structurized experience, right? So the content creator for human resources can provide a curated experience for them to be able to get direct deposit information or payroll information or take time off, right? And so make that request directly from the enterprise portal. If I look at the curation of the IT and I browse that page, you'll also see topics. So these topics are pre-built topics that are created, and we're using a taxonomy that we have to kind of tag these informations, right? And so here I can look at hardware because Joe is a new user. And then one of the things that Joe will need is a computer. I can simply select that, and it's right at the curated pinned information for me. So I can say computer, and it gives me a list of information because the system knows who I am and it knows the type of devices I need. I can simply look at the devices available to me, and then I can simply make a request for the device that meets my needs. So I can submit a request directly for this, and it's pulling directly from our service catalog to allow me to submit an order for that. Once I submit that order and I check out, the system will automatically create a workflow that'll kick off and it'll go back to my manager for approval. Once it hits my manager and then my manager approves it, it will go to procurement, and they will place an order for that and send that to me. And I'll be able to track that all within this one page and this one experience. If I go back to the home page, we also have a widget called My Activities. My Activities extend upon all the different things that we can tie in together and surface up into this one experience. So here's a task that I have available to me. And so it can outline all the different things that I have to get accomplished, right? And then I can make and act upon each one of those. And so if I do this and set those goals that I spoke about earlier, once I'm completed, I can mark this as complete and the system is updated, and then that task has then been removed from my list of things to do. Also, from within the Employee Center, we have the ability to use AI search. So if there's information that I'm not finding or I need additional help with, I can engage the help desk. So before I needed to make a request for a computer. Now I also need a phone. So I'm not seeing that directly on the page. So I'm just going to type in phone. The AI search will go through and it will provide a list of information back to me. It'll provide relevant information for me for different devices that I can order or other updates about the phone that I may need to find out about. So it will do an intelligent search to provide me information that might be relevant for me in order for me to get my job done. So I said that I needed to submit a request for a phone. So I'm going to take a look at this iPhone 6. And again, just like that computer, I can then take a look at the service catalog that's being rendered back to me and order this phone directly from here. And once I check out, again, it will do that automatic workflow to do the request in the back end to make sure that all the approval processes are done and that the order can be fulfilled. Okay. And just to extend upon that, right, we talked about browsing into each individual category that we spoke about before. And so here's these topics that we have that we can highlight, right? And so it's based off the taxonomy that we create as an organization. So here we can build that out, and these are automatically built out for you, right? So here we have one for onboarding. And then again, we can have the content creators for HR to kind of build out this, right? And so here's the onboarding image and additional information that might be relevant for onboarding, right? So you can keep that content specific to onboarding so they can see what they need and that they have a curated experience to make sure that they get their needs met and taken to. So with that, I'll stop and ask if there's any questions.
I'm seeing a couple of questions in chat about the taxonomy, and I can expand on that. So taxonomy is configured separately from catalog and knowledge. It is, you can think of it as the catalog categories and knowledge categories as the backend. And the topic is how, or backend and how, so knowledge categories and catalog categories would be how the content creators create and manage that. But employee topics or taxonomy topics are how employees are searching for that content. So we recommend you to maintain both of these separately. Now, what you are doing is when you are defining the employee facing taxonomy topics, you are essentially tagging the catalog items and knowledge items to how you want them to be surfacing up for the employee. So you will have to do that connection on your own. Hope that makes sense. You can still search for content using global search. And the idea is an employee who is looking to search via browse experience, the topics will provide a much better experience than actually going through the catalog categories or the knowledge categories. Hopefully that was helpful. And then I'm seeing a question on what are the configuration steps to display Employee Center under Microsoft Teams. We have community articles on this, and we will share to provide you the best guidance.
Yep, just share the link on that one.
Awesome, thanks. So I'm seeing a lot of questions on how do we transition from Service Portal to Employee Center. It's a little bit of out of scope from this conversation right now because it involves a deeper discussion. So if you can just leave your email, we can get back in touch with you. We conduct a lot of other sessions which are focused on transition from Service Portal to Employee Center, and we can get in touch with that. Just to clarify, Service Portal is not, the /SP is not being depreciated. So you can stay there, but we are just not investing there as a product. So if you want the latest and greatest, you should go to Employee Center.
Seeing another question here about, will notifications found in Employee Center also be sent into Teams?
Yes. So when you say Employee Center notifications, that would be typically be like the communications one, or if you have an announcements banner, that would be an announcements banner. Announcements widget. You can have those, but like the VA piece on portal is disabled when the portal is integrated with Teams. So you won't have like two chats available. You just have one chat, which is in that chat tab. On what Corey is sharing, you won't have additional chat that you would see on portal show up in Employee Center. Another question on Employee Center is whether it can be used with outside customers. Employee Center can be used for outside customers, or should we use the customer portal? So the recommendation is that you still use the customer portal, or if you want to build a custom service portal, you're okay to do that. Employee Center is essentially from employee-facing use cases. It's designed with that persona in mind. So most of the capabilities that we are looking at are leveraging the sys user table or the HR profile table. So using those things, those capabilities with an external customer will be hard. So either use the service portal, or you use the service portal /SP, or you use the customer portal. The customer portal is, of course, the better choice.
Indeed. Okay. Corey, is there anything else to show?
No, not at this time. I'll yield back to you, Jeff.
All right. Let me see if I can share again. Okay, so we got through the demo. Thanks so much for that, Corey. I always learn something new whenever I watch you do a demo. So that's fantastic. Folks, we've got these new community sites set up now. We just relaunched community this week. So the look and feel you'll see will be slightly different. The content should be the same, although potentially organized in a bit of a different way. In fact, I'm just going to show it to you guys. I was just going through the community here. This is the ServiceNow for Teams community. And you can see it's brand new and slick, and it's designed to have an easier flow to talk about, whether you're trying to get ready or configure, depending on where you're at in your journey. There's a lot of other content in here around product information, advice, and then with the ability to ask questions and to look at the previously published content down here. So this is the one for Teams, Virtual Agent, and NLU has its own, and so does Employee Center. So a lot of content in these sections, and the links, I believe, will either get in the chat or send them to you separately, but you'll be able to access it from the community page that we'll send out with the recording. So that was really the key point I think we wanted to share here. And then in the time remaining, we've got just a few more minutes. So are there any other questions, Janet? Or Corey or anybody?
Sorry, there is one other question there. Will notifications found in Employee Center also be sent to Teams?
Yeah, I think Pooja might have addressed that one. Right, Pooja?
Yeah, I did. So
sorry. Okay.
You're fine. You're fine. So couple of points of clarification, and I can repeat it. You won't have two chats. You will have one chat on Teams, which is in that chat tab. Now, for any new task, any new notification, if you have configured it to come on VA, on Virtual Agent, then you would see that show up on the chat side of it. If you have just notifications made on portal, not on the VA side, then they will only show up on the portal. And you can target specifically notifications being made on Teams. We also have additional capabilities, which I don't know if you're leveraging, but if you have communications posted on portal, let's say you have a new campaign posted on Employee Center, you can actually have those notifications that there is something new posted on portal come up as notification on the Teams thing. So this is not chat notification. This is just like the action bell icon that you see on Teams. You can have the communications come over there, and then the user will be prompted to open the embedded Employee Center within Teams to view that notification or view that new communication. So there's a lot that we have in terms of synergy between the Teams and Employee Center. And if there's any specific question, I'm happy to help.
Okay, there's one more question, and it's from Lillian asking whether or not permissions are bilateral to ServiceNow roles, i.e., are the roles synced or are they controlled through ServiceNow between Teams and ServiceNow? Yes, if you do not have access to something in ServiceNow and you try to ask for it through Teams or whatever, you will not give access. So ServiceNow still manages the access rights to the individual modules and so on.
All right, very good. Well, gosh, we're at time, y'all. Thanks so much for a very informative session. We're going to go ahead and cruise to our outro slide here. Thanks again for joining. Please do look for your survey as you log out, and let us know what you think. Feel free to reach out if you want to chat with us further about any of the capabilities that we've discussed today. Thanks very much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.